Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 5th January 2022, and according to a few of my video commenters who comment under my videos, it is the day when a certain technology is switched on with the number that comes between 4 and 6 and the letter which kind of golf stands for. So I think you know what I mean. Apparently that's been switched on today worldwide, so we'll have to see what occurs from that. Who knows? But that's not really what this video is all about. A few months ago I made another video about, really I was asking the question, do we really want to go back to the old normal? Now, you might be screaming at your screen, yes I do, I want to go back to sort of 2019 when we didn't have to do any of that, when we didn't have lockdowns, when we didn't have the big V or the threats of losing jobs and what have you because of not having that particular thing. The world where you could just travel, jump on a plane and go anywhere you wanted, pretty much free of any restrictions. As long as you had a bit of cash to spare, you could just go and get your ticket, jump on the plane and off you go. So on that level, yes, I'm not disputing that going back to the old normal would be very nice, but on another level, when you think about it, it wasn't really that great, was it? Most people, the vast majority of people, have to work the majority of their lives in jobs and occupations that many people, probably the majority of people, either hate or at least don't particularly like, but just have to sort of put up with, only living for the weekend, only living for 2 or 3 weeks holiday to some nice sort of warm country, sitting on a sunny beach for 2 weeks, and eventually retirement, which for many people is all too short, sadly. And all the time you're basically a slave to the system. If you try and stop working for any length of time, well, how are you going to pay the bills? If you stop paying your taxes for any length of time, well, you're probably going to end up in prison. And if you don't sort of pay all your bills, you're going to sort of get your water cut off, your electricity cut off, and how are you going to live? How are you going to feed yourself? So these things were just sort of kind of constant worries, and are constant worries in your life. And from a young age, I've always thought deep down, there's got to be a better way to this. Surely there's a better way. And when I was young, sort of mid-late teens, I kind of, at that point in my life, I thought, yeah, things aren't perfect, but the world seems to be going in the right direction. Well, fast forward 40 years, showing my age here. Fast forward 40 years and it doesn't look like it's really going forward very much at all. Yes, in some ways things are better than they were in the late 70s, early 80s. In other ways they're quite a lot worse, and some areas progress has been made, but not what I'd call nearly as much as I would have liked. If my kind of 17-year-old self could come to, or even to 2019, I think he would have been pretty disappointed at the level of progress kind of overall. And then we've got the situation we're in now and where we're heading for as well, which of course is a direction that if you're watching this, you probably don't want to sort of head off in. But we are headed, if these Great Reset Muppets have their way, an even more dystopian future, which would make the old normal, look pretty good in comparison. But what if there was a third choice? Can you imagine a world without war, without conflict, without poverty, without competition, people sort of backstabbing each other just to get another step up the corporate ladder? Can you imagine a world without discrimination, without prejudice, without kind of any of these negative, horrible things which just seem to keep perpetuating themselves within society? And they just seem to be encouraged as well by the powers that shouldn't be, for no doubt very, very nefarious reasons that they're only party to and that we can't fathom. And wouldn't it be nice if we could take this not particularly great situation we're in at the moment and turn a negative into a positive, to have our own great reset, but not in the way that the powers shouldn't be want it to happen, but in our own way. And I kind of made a video a couple of days ago showing that this sort of thing is possible and that things are starting to happen, and it seemed to resonate with a lot of people who watched that video. And it was about the alternative health system that I mentioned. And just imagine that, but spread out everywhere, and a plan of action where kind of not just a new health system could come about, but a complete new system everywhere for everybody. And wouldn't that be fantastic? One where everybody's equal, everybody's kind of skills and just they themselves are valued by everybody else in society. One where there's no competition, but instead collaboration and kind of contribution are the sort of watchwords. And I think if we had a society where those two values, where everybody contributed a certain amount and everybody collaborated rather than competing, I think the possibilities of a fantastic new society could be there, and the benefits could be pretty much infinite. So you're probably watching me and thinking, this Tim bloke, he's such a dreamer. It's fair play now, geez. He's just got his head in the clouds. Well, I've got to tell you, as I said the other day, people are out there making these kind of things happen. And I think it's probably because of that video I got sent an email by a subscriber. So thank you for that. And they kind of sent me a link to this video. And it's something I've kind of come across this before on occasion over the last few months, but never really taken too much notice of it. Don't know why, because when I have looked into it, it looks fantastic. And it's something called Ubuntu, otherwise known as One Small Town. And they've got a website, onesmalltown.org, and I think Ubuntu.org, I think it is as well. But I'll leave links to those in the description box below anyway, so you can go and check them out. But it's an organisation headed up by this South African guy who has been thinking of this kind of new type of society, not just during this lurgy situation, but all the way since 2005. So it's quite well developed and well formed and well thought out, and it really does look like it could be something sort of fantastic. So, and he's really got these kind of plans of action which could make a fantastic society sort of very, very possible indeed. I'm not going to give too much away about it because I've still got to examine it quite a lot myself. I don't fully understand it, but the basic principle is that once a particular community decides to implement this thing, this Ubuntu thing, everybody kind of contributes 3 hours a week. It's not forced, it's totally voluntary, but you just put in 3 hours labour a week, and that is then, your labour is then put towards making various things happen, sort of new businesses work, and they will work because they get your free labour, and then that comes back to you. The benefit to you is that you get a third of all the produce of not only the business that you work in, but all of the other initiatives and businesses in the community as well. And that is basically how it works. I'm probably not explaining it very well at all, but it's a very exciting concept. So what I'll do is I'll leave it here for now for you to go and check this thing out. But it's in the description box below. I'll have links to just kind of their latest update video, because they are hoping to get this thing off the ground very, very shortly this year. And they've already got a lot of infrastructure and things in place already. And then if you go to this website, they've got a load of videos on there which kind of explains the whole thing in a lot of detail. So there's several videos there. I'm kind of in the process of going through them myself, so it's going to be something I'm going to be keeping an eye on quite a lot in the coming weeks. It'll be exciting to see how this thing takes off and whether it works. And even if these guys don't turn out to be the real deal and it doesn't get off the ground, I think the basic concept could be something that perhaps you can sort of run with and do something in your own sort of locality. So very exciting stuff. At least check out the YouTube video, and if you want to go onto the websites as well and check them out and all the videos. And I'll leave it there. Back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.